How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
is the end. There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final fight. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
Won't anybody help us? What are we running for? When there's nowhere we can run to anymore. Can't afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible. And with the power of conviction, there is no sacrifice. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible.
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent 200.
Literally.
So
Not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is
problem.
that what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under if
streaming?
you're going to do it.
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise, you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah, please.
But Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Trendling in with the early super chat. My maybe sometimes boyfriend would not take me to the Portland Ice facility. Well, why the fuck not, Trendling? That's grounds for breaking up with him, I think. Even if you want to like an official, it's grounds to sometimes maybe break up with the sometimes maybe boyfriend. I almost snuck out of the hotel once he was asleep, but thought, no, you should have done that. You should have done explicitly that. You absolutely 100% should have snuck out of the hotel to go to the Portland Ice facility, but that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. There's always other trips to Portland. It's never going to stop there anyway. So thank you for the super chat, Trendlin, and the important sometimes maybe boyfriend update. Guys, the sheer volume of conservative retardation that I have had to deal with in the last 48 hours, I have no words for the level of retardation that conservatives have. I did not think it was possible. I did not think it could get any worse than it had already gotten. We have reached a biblical level of retardation. They're all over Twitter calling me a leftist. They're all over Twitter complaining about me. And not just me, but anyone that doesn't go along with the Trump talking points, of course. Anyone that doesn't want to bless Trump's going to war with Iran on behalf of Israel is now just conservative enemy number one. And if you don't want to go to war with Iran, you are obviously a leftist that's being funded by George Soros and yada, 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 yada. I am not joking. I am not joking that it has gotten so bad. You know, in November, I just wasn't going to vote. I just wasn't going to vote in November. I literally just was not going to vote. Conservatives don't seem to understand that not voting is actually an option, that everyone in the world is not obligated to vote for either a Republican or a Democrat. They have no comprehension of the fact that just not voting because you find all of the choices you have reprehensible and untenable. I was not even going to vote. That was my position. There was no one earning my vote, and so I just wasn't going to vote, and that was going to be the way it was. Murphy's Pool in with the super chat. Is everyone ready for a dad? Always in with a good timing with a dad joke. Murphy's Pool. I stayed up all night wondering where the sun went, and then it dawned on me. Thanks, Murphy's Pool. Appreciate the super chat. I just wasn't going to vote in November. But the sheer ungodly amount of conservative retardation that I have had to deal with in the past 24 hours, I might actually vote for the Democrats. I might actually vote for the Democrats. That is how bad this has gone. That is how ridiculous the amount of conservative retardation and bullshit has been in my Twitter feed in the past 24 hours. And it's not that I like the Democrats. It is not that I like the Democrats in any way, shape, or form. It isn't even that I think the Democrats would be better than the Republicans, because I actually don't think it fucking matters. W. Chevelle for the channel memberships. We love you. Thank you, bro. But just the sheer volume of conservative idiocy that I have been inundated with in my Twitter feed, I'm like, bruh. Like, not only am I not going to give you my vote, which was my original position, I just wasn't going to vote entirely. Now I'm actually going to vote for your enemy, who I also do not like in any way, because you idiots do not deserve to win. I am absolutely convinced of this after seeing the sheer level of idiocy that's been going on. There is no way the Republicans can win in November. In fact, not only should they not win, they should get their asses handed to them. Their self-righteous, smug, low IQ, retard asses handed to them on a silver fucking platter. Now, I already thought it was going to be a bloodbath anyway, but can we even make the bloodbath worse than it already was? Can that please happen? Because I really just don't see any way around this mess at all. I really just don't see any other way around it. The GOP needs to be destroyed. It needs to be figuratively burned to the ground. The MAGA retards need to be expunged from all of politics. And quite frankly, they all just need to go away. They all just need to go away and shut the fuck up and get out of the way and let people who are much smarter than them and much more capable than them actually have the space to solve the problems. Because there are serious problems that need to be solved. And as long as we are coddling the lowest IQ among us, as long as we are allowing this bullshit to be taken seriously, none of these people should be taken seriously. Many of them are fucking, like, conservatives want to talk about the left being mentally unwell. Oh, honey, have you seen my Twitter replies from the MAGA right for the past 24 hours? You want to talk about the left being mentally unwell? I almost said this on the Dr. Drew show last week, but I reined it in just a little bit. I had already talked about concentration camps. I didn't want to push things too far, but when Dr. Drew kept pushing me on what he really wanted me to say is the left is all mentally ill, and he wanted me to diagnose them psychologically. I literally almost said on his show, I was like, listen, Dr. Drew, no offense, but I see way more mental illness and antisocial personality disorder and all of this stuff and narcissism, quite frankly. I see way more borderline personality disorder on the right than I do on the left. I'm very sorry. I know that's not what you want to hear, but I see way more personality disorders on the right than I do on the left. And it's not even fucking close. Listen, every community has people that are mentally ill. Every subculture has people that are mentally ill. The left certainly has people that are mentally ill. But again, just going based on my direct experience, I have had way more encounters with actual mental illness on the right than I've ever had on the left. And I'm going to bet that there is also a big overlap between that mental illness and people who are Zionists. Just guessing. Anyway, do you guys want to see? I just got, like, you can always go to my Twitter feed and see this for yourself, but I've just got a couple examples of the amount of absolute retardation going on in my Twitter feed right now. And the reason we're doing Candace today is I just need something. We're doing a spy stream later. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But like, I just needed low level content. I can only take so much. Okay. So first off, conservatives are posting videos all over the internet of people waving Iranian flags and celebrating. Now, listen. I'm not going to tell people what to do. I personally don't really give a fuck. But I remember not even a year ago when conservatives were bitching and complaining and screaming and whining over Mexicans waving Mexican flags all over American cities. And they were like, why aren't you waving American flags? Well, yeah, that was a fair point. Perhaps we shouldn't be espousing a foreign country in America and pledging allegiance to that foreign country. And I mean, listen, man, like, this is America. This is not Iran. Just saying. But then it dawned on me. It's like, okay, Trump said there was going to be mass deportations. Trump said we weren't going to be the babysitters of the fucking world anymore. Trump promised us he was going to get all the fucking immigrants out so that, you know, white people could actually get jobs and things like that. Now that Iran has been liberated after Trump bombed them on behalf of Israel, it dawned on me that now that Iran has been liberated, perhaps all of these people that are refugees from Iran who are marching through American streets, waving Iranian flags, perhaps they should go home. Just like the Venezuelans. We took in all these Venezuelan refugees. We've been paying for all these Venezuelan refugees. We took in all these Iranian refugees. We've been paying for all these fucking Iranian refugees. Perhaps it's time for them to get the fuck out. Perhaps the free ride is over. We liberated your countries, according to conservatives. It's time for you to go back. You don't get to stay here anymore. This was a temporary fucking arrangement. Well, conservatives don't like that. Do you want to know why conservatives don't want to deport the Iranian refugees now that their country has been liberated? Because MAGA wants to get all the Iranians to vote for them. Now, I just want people to think about this for a second. Let me turn the chat on the screen so you guys can see what you're saying. I just want people to really think about this for a moment. That Iranian parade was fake and gay. It's all fake and gay. It's all fucking fake and gay. Everything is fake and gay. MAGA turned into leftists, literally. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Do you want to know why the MAGA-tards who claim to be in favor of getting the immigrants the fuck out of the country, do you want to know why the MAGA-tards are not quick to deport the Iranian refugees and send them back to Iran? Because MAGA wants all of them to become Trump voters. Now listen, I'm no expert in how the Constitution works. But if someone is an Iranian, that means they're not American, which means they can't vote in America. So are you now telling me that MAGA is advocating for massive electoral fraud to get non-Americans to vote because they think they're going to vote for Trump? Are you telling me that MAGA idiots who have been screaming about election fraud for years and years and years and years and years, oh, how the tables have turned. Oh, how the tables have turned. Well, well, well. It kind of seems like MAGA right now on Twitter is advocating for literal election fraud, because let me explain something to you guys. Let me explain something to you. And I happen to have some direct experience with this because, as you know, my husband was recently nationalized as a U.S. citizen. My husband had to go take the oath that they take when they make you an American citizen. It was very touching, and he looked very handsome. He dressed up in a suit, and it was awesome. But do you know what I know directly from having been through this experience recently? He had to denounce his citizenship to Ukraine. So while my husband might be from Ukraine, my husband is actually no longer a Ukrainian because he had to renounce his citizenship to become an American citizen. That means my husband is an American. There was even a sign. There was even a fucking sign at the ICE facility. It says, "Today I am an American." Okay? So when you're talking about people voting, why the fuck are we talking about foreign nationals voting in our fucking elections, conservatives? Because it kind of seems to me, no. Do not disrespect my fucking husband. You want to get permanently banned from my channel so fast it'll make your fucking head spin. Do not disrespect my husband in any fucking way, and I don't give a flying fuck about your feelings. You are in my house, motherfucker. So why are we talking about getting foreign nationals to vote in American elections, conservatives? Oh, how the tables have turned. Oh, here we are. Look at that. Look at that. But it gets even better. It gets even better. This is the part where a magatard told me that he hopes that Antifa kicks the shit out of me when I go undercover. So this is now the MAGA position. This has been in my Twitter feed. If unless they're confused, because a lot of MAGA thinks I'm a leftist. A lot of conservative retards think I'm a leftist. This conservative retard knows I go undercover with Antifa and said, I hope when you go undercover with those wacky assholes, they teach you a lesson, you hag. Okay. Okay. You want to get me to not vote for your guy? I got a great way for you to do it. And then, of course, I have to post the pictures on Twitter, not only showing off my weight loss, but showing off my purses. And, you know, I mean, conservative retards, let me let you guys in on a little secret. Let me let you in on a little secret. First of all, I'm actually taking a picture of the purses because I'm doing something different on social media with my purses and stuff like that. So really what I'm doing in these pictures is photographing my purses. And then I share them on Twitter because the replies are a litmus test. The replies are a litmus test of whether or not you are allowed in my sphere. So I'm taking these pictures of all my purses, and my purse is fucking rock. That's a large Gucci padlock, limited edition, no big deal. That purse is fucking awesome. I'm actually taking these pictures because I'm doing something with the purses, but the replies tell you everything you need to know. The replies tell you everything you need to know. Size 8 jeans, by the way. Hey, say thanks, Cynthia. W's to Cynthia in the super chat. Or in the for the channel memberships. I don't even know what's going on, Cynthia. W's to Cynthia. And by the way, given that I've been harassed by conservative retards every day of my life for the past 6 years because of my weight, I will post as many pictures as I want as I'm losing weight, and I don't give a flying fuck what they have to say about it. I truly don't give a flying fuck what they have to say about it. Anyway, let's look in the replies. You're an actual Nazi. A bag to hide the fat. It's not working. Ew. Goddamn, you're fugly. You look like dog shit. Let's see. You're a Jew. You're a Nazi. You're a cuck. I don't even know what the fuck that person's about. You're Ozempic fat and poor and go paycheck to buy ugly bags because they think they make you look cool. Fat stank bitch. I'm not even fucking on Ozempic. I actually don't have Ozempic face. I'm very sorry. Do you want to know why I don't have Ozempic face from massive amounts of very quick weight loss conservatives? Let me let you in on a little secret. Collagen. Collagen. Collagen is actually the secret to this. Do you guys know what I have in my coffee every time I have a cup of coffee? Collagen. Do you know what I put on my face when I'm doing skincare treatments? Collagen. Collagen will prevent the sunken look that people get from rapid weight loss. Just saying. Just saying. It's almost like I know my shit. It's almost like I've been able to do this before. Just saying. But the bigger point I want to make about this is like, listen, guys, I told you for years and years and years, every single time conservative retards like attacked me over my weight, I told you guys for years and years and years, I can lose weight any fucking time I want. I just have to make the choice to. And I just want you guys to know, I said this from the very beginning. Fuck your conservative. Fuck you, conservatives. Karlyn, this is for the purse fund. Hey, thanks, average person. Anyone else want to donate to my purse fund? I just bought another pair of sunglasses. But what I want to say is this. I have experienced a massive amount of harassment over the past 5 to 6 years because of my weight. That's part of the reason that I have no problem posting pictures like this, like every time I go out. It's not just that I'm taking these pictures for another reason. I have no problem fucking posting them because of the amount of toxic harassment that I've taken over the years. And I told people when I decided to lose weight, and the reason I decided to lose weight was to go back undercover with the far left. W's to Cynthia for the 5 channel memberships. Cynthia, you are the queen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The reason that I decided to lose weight was to go undercover with the far left. But I want to make a point to someone. I said from the very beginning, no matter how much weight I lose, and it's almost 40 pounds, by the way. It's almost, I'm like this fucking close to 40 pounds in a little over 3 months. No matter how much weight I lose, it'll never be enough. Whether it's 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 70 pounds, it doesn't fucking matter. I'm planning on getting unrecognizably skinny. That is actually the goal of this little endeavor. Thank you, Suzanne. On behalf of every literal grown-up, I apologize for these written assaults. Also for the purses. Thanks, Suzanne. I appreciate that. No matter how much weight I lose, it'll never be enough. Because the purpose of the attacks is not about encouragement to get healthy. It never has been. The purpose of the attacks is to make me hate myself so that I shut the fuck up. That's why no matter how much weight I lose, the attacks will continue and they'll say exactly the same thing or they'll switch to another insult. Doesn't fucking matter, because the purpose of the attacks is to make me hate myself so I will silence myself. I want everyone to really fucking understand this. Every time I say that the conservative right has done more to try to destroy my work over the past 6 years than the left has ever done, Cynthia! 10 channel memberships, W's to Cynthia. We got a spy stream later, guys. All of these channel memberships that Cynthia and I think someone else did, and Chevelle, I think, all these channel memberships are going to go to very good use because we got a spy stream coming up later tonight. Cynthia, queen of the channel. We love you, my dear. Every time I've tried to tell you guys that the conservative right has done more to try to destroy my work, exposing the left, than the left actually has, this is what I'm talking about. The constant personal attacks, the constant toxicity, the constant defamation, the constant slander, the constant lies, the constant whining, the constant fucking complaining. It doesn't matter what I do if I don't adhere to their talking points. They will do everything they can to try to make me hate myself, to try to silence me. And by the way, I'm not the only person they do this to by a long shot. They do this to everyone who doesn't toe the fucking line. It is good to have Cynthia back, old sub-sailor. We appreciate you as well, bro. Thanks so much. So I want to say this to people. I hope, first of all, if you're wondering why something just fell down outside my door, I don't know what it is. We'll figure that out later. If you're wondering why I am on the verge of literally voting for the Democrats to give the conservative magatards the biggest fucking middle finger I can, just remember that in order to get where I've gotten today, I have had to endure an unimaginable level of toxicity, defamatory attacks, slander, outright fucking lies, just constant personal attacks on every single part of my appearance, photoshopping pictures of me, making memes of me, spreading these constant lies about me. And it's always, 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 always 100% of the time has come from the conservative MAGA right. And more often than not, it has to do with someone Jewish, and more often than not, they're all Zionists. So I want people to really understand that when I say I am on the verge of voting for the Democrats, there are very good reasons for that. It has nothing to do with liking the Democrats, and I think that people on my channel that watch my content are smart enough to get it. And I also want to say, don't ever allow anyone to make you hate yourself. Don't ever allow anyone in your life to make you hate yourself. That is what the purpose of this entire thing is. It is to make me hate myself so that they silence me. Because when you don't like yourself, you don't think you have anything to offer the world. And when you don't think you have anything to offer the world because you personally don't like yourself, you stop speaking. It takes your voice. I know this because I'm describing my childhood right now. And I had to go through years and years and years of spiritual practice to get to a point where I love myself unconditionally. And there is nothing that anyone can ever say. You can call me fat 19 ways from Sunday. Must be a day that ends in Y. Conservatives do this to me every day of the fucking week. No matter how much weight I lose, they will always do this because that is all they know how to do. If I hadn't gone through the spiritual path that I went through before I got to politics, I would have quit doing this a long ass time ago. And so I want everyone to really learn from what you see happening publicly to me all the time. Do not ever allow someone who is deeply toxic, who is deeply insecure, who hates themselves, by the way, because if they didn't hate themselves, they wouldn't be trying to make other people hate themselves. Don't ever allow someone to make you hate yourself. Don't ever allow someone else to silence you, because when they silence you, they win. Literally fuck off, conservatives. Literally fuck off. Basic Forge, thanks so much for the super chat. There doesn't seem to be anyone good to vote for in either party. Maybe they do this to throw it in our faces. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Do I have any more? No, we already talked about that. Oh, by the way, just so we're clear, conservatives are also telling me they don't want me to vote for them anyway. So fine. This is what conservatives do. When I say I'm actually never going to fucking vote for you assholes again, and not only am I not going to vote for you, I'm probably going to vote for Democrats. Conservatives go, yeah, well, we didn't want you to vote for us anyway. Okay. Don't worry about it. Fine. Guys, we are going to be watching Candace tonight, but I want to let everyone know that we do have a spy stream actually coming up in about an hour. So we're going to have to go quickly through a couple Candace episodes to get caught up on the Candace insanity. We are doing a spy stream tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going inside a live leftist training around 6:45 p.m. tonight. In about an hour, we're doing that. So we're going to jump through a couple episodes of Candace real quick, and then we're going to do that. If you guys want to support the work I'm doing and get more people into Spy Stream tonight, because it is a supporter exclusive, you have to be a Substack member, a YouTube channel member, a local supporter, Patreon supporter, or Twitter subscriber in order to get access. If you are a supporter on any of those platforms, you can find the link to Spy Stream right now. If you are a channel member, let me show you how to find the link to Spy Stream. Basically, you go to my YouTube channel, you click on the post tab, and it will be not on this account, but it will be the very first post in the tab. So that is where you find your link to Spy Stream in about an hour. And if you're a Substack member, you find it right in the main post. If you're a member on another platform, you can find it there at the very top of the page on whatever platform you're on, or in the subscriber feed on Twitter. I do appreciate the support. Yes, well, this is a MacB, I think, is watching 1984 in the Discord tonight, but this Spy Stream should end before MacB's movie night begins. So it's all good, bro. It's all good. Tonight, we're going to be watching a live leftist organizing call about leftists talking about the Iran situation. So if you want to hear directly from the left what they actually think, instead of engaging with conservative retardation on Twitter, join for Spy Stream. If you want to send in some channel memberships while we're on our stream today and add more people to the club, I would greatly love that. But let's get over to Candace, because Candace has had 3 more episodes of the whole Erika Kirk series, and we're going to try to get through as many of these 2 as possible. Let's jump right into it. I want to make sure my sound is set up. Got to make sure my sound is set up. There we go. Naruto, thanks for the super chat. I DM'd you some meltdowns on Twitter over Erika Kirk's series from Candace to watch whenever you have time. Thank you, Naruto. I don't think we're going to have time today because we're going to be pretty crunched for time. I'd like to get through these 2 episodes to find out what Candace said. And so we're gonna get through them. I'm going to play them a little bit fast, but I do appreciate the super chat, and I appreciate the info over on Twitter. Let's get this party started, guys.
All right, you guys. Now, I know a lot of American grandparents woke up a little bit confused this morning, wondering why Their grandchildren are suddenly referring to them as far, far and more far. I'm proud of us. We classed up, America. We're taking that. We're taking that from Sweden. This series is maybe dedicated to all the far, fars and more fars out there. I was actually speaking to one of Erika's exes, and he told me a pretty interesting story. I thought it was very interesting.
Cynthia in with the super chat. Well, we love you, hun. So they can bite us collectively. Cynthia, I fucking love you, man. It's not because you're funding my work almost single-handedly. Okay, maybe not single-handedly, but you know what I mean, Cynthia. Like I just love the fucking Cynthia and I understand each other. This is why this works. Cynthia and I know that Cynthia understands exactly what I'm doing. And I appreciate it more than I can say.
From offering the standard, I do not recognize who this human is at all anymore. I don't recognize the person that she is pretending to be. She's very different when we dated. Everyone says that across the board when you ask them about their relationship with Erika. But he did tell me another interesting little tidbit, a little anecdote.
Oh, I got Gucci.
One morning, he would often, I guess, speak to Erika about how close he was with his grandfather. His grandfather had already passed. He's dating Erika, and she's getting to know him in his life.
Guys, I just got these vintage Gucci sunglasses. They were only made in Japan. Look at these. How fucking cool are these? These are my Willy Wonka sunglasses. Anyway,
the things that matter to him. And he says that one morning Erika wakes up and she tells him that his grandfather, who has passed and who he adored, came to her in a dream
the tags
with a message. He just thought that was quite odd. I thought that was an interesting story. It tells us a little bit about Erika because that is a psychology of sorts. It kind of reminds me of when Meghan Markle would spray Diana's perfume on to sort of attract Harry. We're learning a lot more about Erika and her psychological profile, and we are going to discuss more of that in depth today. So welcome back to Bride of Charlie. We have nothing to hide. Okay, so on background, I don't know how far down various rabbit holes you have gone, but if you are a regular viewer of the show, then you are very familiar with the name Aleister Crowley. If you are not, please, in your spare time, hit Wikipedia, read maybe Hollywood Babylon, Chaos. Look, the short and the thick of it is the elites practice occult sex magic. You just got to accept that is a circumstance at the top. They've been doing that for a long time. They get together and they have these satanic sex parties where they try to summon various demons. That sounds crazy. I know, but it's real. It's right there.
All right. We've jumped right into Rosemary's Baby. Okay. Great, Candace. Awesome. Well done. Good start.
In your face if you just look into history a tiny bit. And Aleister Crowley, who was once termed the world's wickedest man, would host these parties all across the world. And he even created his own religion around it. Science of Thelema, black magic. There are so many stories out there regarding Aleister Crowley attempting to summon various demons. In France, he tried to summon Pan, I think in Paris. And many times people would end up in the hospital. But probably the one story that ranks supreme is something that happened in 1923 in Sicily with one of his acolytes. Aleister Crowley was sort of grooming a young Oxford student to become his magical heir. He saw this young Oxford student and said, "You've got it. You're amazing. Come down to Sicily and let's try to do some spells together." This was a 23-year-old student. Okay, Aleister Crowley thinks he has the it factor. They go down to Sicily, and the kid ends up dead. I'm actually going to bring on my producer, Ashley, to explain to you a little further what happened when they were working on an invisibility charm. Take a listen.
Yeah, so basically, Aleister Crowley was convinced that he was able to make himself invisible, and he was trying to bestow that power upon his little magical heir, Raoul Loveday. This was during one of his infamous ceremonies at his abbey in Sicily. But during the experiment, they both got really sick. Aleister survived. He was fine. But the nurse that was helping them said that Raoul became slowly fainter and fainter until he just completely disappeared. And so Aleister buried him in a quote unquote empty coffin. Like there was absolutely nothing in it. And later, Raoul's wife, who was there, she was present for all of this. She blames Aleister Crowley for this. But just a few years.
Look at how fucking serious Candace. That's a screenshot for a future Candace episode right there. Okay. Candace is trying so hard to be serious.
Raoul's wife, who was there, she was present for all of this. She blames Aleister Crowley for this, or Crowley for this. But just a few years later, in 1929, they came out and said, "Oh no, actually, he just died from inflammation of the intestines. Nothing to see here."
So I'll tell you why this is important, why Aleister Crowley is so significant to things that are happening today, okay? What ended up happening was Mussolini, the evil fascist, kicked him out of the country for being a Satanist. Fortunately for Aleister Crowley, this didn't actually matter because he was friends with the elites all over the world, including, and this is just a historical fact, a woman by the name of Pauline Robinson, who would eventually, after spending time with her friend Aleister Crowley.
Is Candace going to argue that Erika Kirk is a descendant of Aleister Crowley or some such shit? That would be actually fucking amazing.
8.5 months later, she gives birth to Barbara Bush. Okay. This is just, again, a little over 8.5 months after hanging out with Aleister Crowley. Obviously, you know who Barbara Bush is, the mother of George Bush. Now, this is the source.
No, I'm sorry. The Bush family are descendants of Aleister Crowley. Okay.
Of the rumors that Barbara Bush is actually the child of Aleister Crowley. Now, why am I telling you that? Why am I starting this episode speaking about these occult rituals and the idea that the elites are practicing occult magic? It's because it's important that as we begin to connect dots throughout this series, that you fully digest, as I told you yesterday, that Operation Paperclip was not about rescuing brilliant Jewish scientists who were being persecuted from Germany. It was about rescuing wealthy occult perverts like Sigmund Freud and his boys, referring to them as scientists, saying that they had scientific breakthroughs so they could go on doing perverted things and go on being the elites. The same families have been in power for a very long time. Everything else is just an illusion, okay? I don't know how some people don't recognize that. Just looking around at who they keep trying to tell us is a genius. How is it always the rich people? Do you guys really think that every offensively wealthy kid who makes his butler do his homework grows up and becomes a tech genius? That's just the story that we keep being told. Jack Parsons, unbelievably wealthy kid who created the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. That's the precursor to NASA's Apollo program. Oh, he was such a genius. He was trying to literally summon demons. He was Aleister Crowley's protege. He was doing the exact same thing that Aleister Crowley was doing, throwing elite sex parties, saying we're going to create a moon child, everyone, sex, drugs. Look, Elon Musk seems like a nice guy, but do I believe he's running 17 trillionaire dollar companies at the same time while also having 49 baby mamas? No, I don't. I don't accept that. Bill Gates, that one bothers me the most. Oh my God, shocker. He's in the Epstein files. Look at him, people. Look at him. Look at his face. Of course he's in the Epstein files. You really think this?
I have the playback on this sped up a little bit because we're going to be tight on time for Spy Stream. So that's why she's talking fast. Okay. I appreciate it though. Thank you.
God, you're such a genius. He went from computers to pharmaceuticals to poisoning African kids. He's just so genius. Yeah. I'm troubled the most by people who ever bought that man was smart. Poor and middle class people know we can never go on to become geniuses. It doesn't work like that. Now I want kind of want everyone to just wake up from this occult spell of thinking that these people are smarter than you. They are not natural geniuses, which do exist, like Charlie Kirk. You have to either play ball with the elites, meaning hand over whatever it is that you have built to fulfill our ends. Let us be in control of the message. What you're doing is big. We want in. Or if you say no, you wind up dead. That's how the world works. And the military is responsible for keeping particular families in power. It's pretty much eugenics at the top and social engineering at the bottom. And we have proven over and over again as a society that we are subject to psychology. Our minds are malleable. They've trained us via marketing to poison ourselves so that we can't have more offspring, aggressive marketing campaigns, propaganda, repeat promises of scientific breakthroughs. Scientific breakthrough. Oh my God, we had no idea it caused cancer. What do you mean she can't get pregnant? We're so shocked. This is what the military does best, okay? Psychological operations. You've seen it in this entire lead up to Erika Kirk. It is part of the reason I believe, I don't know if you thought about this a lot like I have, why did the military choose to have us all watch Charlie's execution? Think about that. They could have just like poisoned his drink or something, done their standard, mess with the brakes and get into a car accident. I don't know. But no, they wanted us to watch it. They wanted to make sure that we all watched it and we had emotional reaction and that they could sort of harness our emotions.
Hey, thanks, old sub, for the super chat. Candace Owens is great entertainment, but totally insane. Yeah, true. That's why she's great entertainment. Does she really believe this crap or is someone feeding it to her for clicks? I think she actually believes this. I think she does. It's like the classic, it's classic Dunning-Kruger, right? It's like Candace gets bits and pieces of information right. It's not like she gets everything wrong. It's like the left. The left gets bits and pieces of information right. And then the connections they make between those pieces are just fucking wacky. But hey, it's entertaining. So I'll watch it. Thanks so much, old sub. Appreciate you.
Emotions to get behind Erika. Right? Erika, that was where it was supposed to go. You watched it. She's the widow. That's why they just keep saying the thing. She's the grieving widow. She's a grieving widow. Never mind everything that she's doing right now. Never mind the lack of concern that she seems to have for this investigation. Me sitting down with her and her speaking about Charlie and never is emotion coming up. And she's like, yeah, I like to work. But then when I see.
Okay, question for you guys. What is more offensive to you? My new Willy Wonka Gucci sunglasses or Candace's fucking ugly shirt. One in the chat if my Gucci vintage sunglasses are more offensive to you, the Willy Wonka sunglasses we're going to call them. One in the chat if the Willy Wonka sunglasses are more offensive. Two in the chat if Candace's shirt is more offensive to your sensibilities. I'm just curious.
The first trace of emotion, it's about her mother, who's alive, but Charlie's dead. Charlie's dead.
His sunglasses.
Everyone recognized something was off about that. The way that they are defending her is crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I could do 27,000 series, like I said, about Hillary Clinton. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't care at all. But Erika, my goodness, there is something there. You cannot touch or speak about it because, well, they cast a spell. What's wrong with you guys? Well, anyway, let's quickly recap the military connection that we've already established in the Erika Kirk story, right? So we learned that Erika was born at the Good Samaritan Hospital on either the 20th or the 22nd of November of 1988. It depends on who's telling the story. Is it Erika? Is it Lori? Is it Erika's dad?
Yeah, actually,
hospital, great.
Like, unironically, if Candace wore my sunglasses with her shirt, the whole thing would make much more sense. And would actually, the sunglasses would it? If Candace wanted to ask me very nicely to borrow my Gucci sunglasses, then the shirt would actually probably look much more amazing than it looks just by proximity to the sunglasses.
Graciously gifted by the Marine Corps after they were kind of caught experimenting on human brains, because who among us hasn't been caught experimenting on human brains unethically?
Yeah,
youth,
real.
I guess, is wasted on the young. You should also know that Far, Carl Kenneth, was himself a military man. He served in the Army Corps of Engineers. I have to tell you, having looked through so many people's stories, I do believe that the Army Corps of Engineers is not always engineering, planes. I think sometimes they're just engineering society. Social engineering is what they're into. I'm not speaking about Carl Kenneth specifically, but that's very obviously one element of our military. Now, Erika's father and her mother, Lori and Kent Fronsfay, as we learned, were married in Marblehead, Massachusetts. We still cannot find a single shred of proof regarding that union having taken place, but we do acknowledge that it is the birthplace of the Marine Corps aviation.
Gucci,
although whether that marriage took place in the 80s, whether that marriage took place in the 90s, or whether that marriage took place at all, we will see if we can discover throughout this series. But today, I would like to discuss with you guys Kent Fronsfay's first wife. This woman is very important. The woman that he married before Lori, in my opinion, is one of the more compelling characters in this story because she's very powerful, she's very connected, and she has quite a peculiar background. And ultimately, her life, despite the fact that she married Kent first, is going to plug right into Erika's life. This woman's name she died 2 years ago, Dr. Jerry Fronsfay. Look at Dr. Jerry Fronsfay. I'm going to tell you about Dr. Jerry Fronsfay. She keeps her name. She also dies in Arizona. Everybody's in Arizona. You would have no idea that these people were exes and they seem to get along quite well. They keep doing business together. Well, Dr. Jerry was born Jerry Pitts in 1943. She was born into a very strict Mormon household. Yeah, fun fact, Erika's father was at first married to a Mormon before he got together with Lori. Jerry's Mormon family is from Arizona, a very powerful Mormon family, but she herself was raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. Jerry also happens to be a victim of child rape. Okay. Now she's going to tell the story in a different way. She's almost going to, when she retells the story, make it sound like a love story. It's weird to me. I don't think a person should be trying to normalize child rape, or if they do, they probably shouldn't hold any future positions of power over children. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I'll let Jerry tell it. Let's read a bit of this article from 1981 where she recounts her own history. It tells us that at 14, she ran away from a strict Mormon upbringing in Indianapolis to get married. She says, quote, "I was a straight A student and was about to get the worst mark of my life, a C in algebra," Fronsfay said in an interview. "I couldn't face my parents. I loved my boyfriend. We saw an opportunity and we took it. I lied about my age. I altered my birth certificate. I then smeared it with Clarisol to make it look older. 6 months later, we asked to come home and we were welcomed. She was a mother before her peers graduated high school and divorced before she was old enough to vote." Okay, so just to recap, she gets married at 14. Not mentioned is the fact that she's already pregnant. Okay, she then runs away for 6 months to the other side of Indianapolis, uses Clarisol so she can get married at 14, has this little shotgun wedding. She gets married to a guy named Carl Pangerl. Carl Pangerl, spelled Pangerl, is 5 or 6 years her senior. I can't really tell. Look, she's already telling us she's forging docs, so he could be 5 or 6 years her senior. And just so you know, he's going to go on to become a bishop in the Mormon church because marrying a child is apparently not a disqualifier. In fact, she tells us her parents welcome them back into the home. Okay. Okay, I guess. Let's keep going. They divorce, and then Jerry somehow becomes a bookkeeper. She gets into accounting. So it doesn't matter that she got knocked up at 14, that she's married and divorced before she turns 18. She's still somehow able to just get a good job and begin a career. She becomes a bookie. She learns clerical machines. And I would love to know who exactly it was that she was bookkeeping for, because I think it probably was somebody pretty important, because Jerry then suddenly marries some top brass in the military. Her second husband, and we're not going to get, just going to give the facts about him. He's a man named Kenneth Himsel, and he's a captain in the Indiana National Guard. He goes on to become a major general. They get hitched in 1965. Jerry's now got connections. She gets a bachelor's degree in psychology. That same year, psychology is what she is about to become an expert. That's going to be her career path. She just gets psychology, particularly the psychology of children. It's now 1970. She's 27, and she becomes a social worker.
Thanks so much for the super chat. This all still has to do with Charlie getting shot. Chevelle, I have no fucking idea, but thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate it.
Sure. In Indiana. And instantly in my mind, and I get it, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'm pretty obsessed with MK Ultra. I don't love anybody that was a psychologist in the 70s, especially one that's connected to the military, especially someone that's connected to the military in Indiana who happens to be a victim of child rape herself. I'm not loving it. A lot of red flags here. It's immediately suspicious, because MK Ultra was in full swing. And if you did not know, Indiana was a major hub for MK Ultra action. The universities in Indiana were factually involved in experimentation. In fact, Indiana was actually the place that the government manufactured the LSD to drug people with for their experiments. You can thank Indiana for the hippies movement. Thank you, Indiana. Anyway, suddenly Jerry's big time, okay? In 1971, she heads out to Chicago and she begins working for Quaker Oats for 3 years. Now, if you're like me, I was like, well, at least Quaker Oats, we know, hired a psychologist for what? She says she was helping them with marketing. What kind of marketing? Okay, the official story, like, I don't know, help us sell these oats. And if you're like me, I was literally thinking in my head, well, at least Quaker Oats was never involved in any weird MK Ultra type experimentation or anything. Except for that one time when Quaker Oats was actually going into mental institutions and force feeding.
No! Naruto, thanks so much for the super chat. I think people are trolling her in the comments on this series. At the end of this episode, she brings up a comment where someone said, I hid in the Daily Wire washroom. Did she take it seriously, though? Did she take it seriously? Is that like, that's like what Amalek would do. Amalek would send her in a fake tip and then she would take it seriously and stuff like that. That's funny, though. Thanks for the super chat.
A bunch of radioactive oats to little boys. Look at this article. This is our government. A spoonful of sugar helps the radioactive oatmeal go down. Right. Yes, Quaker Oats was conducting experiments on unsuspecting young boys. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Anyway. The Atomic Energy Commission teamed up with Quaker Oats to experiment on children. Now, how long did that go on for? Did Jerry Francois herself play a part in any experimentation on children with Quaker Oats? Was this even related to MK Ultra? We're never going to know any of those answers. Put it out of your mind, because in 1975, the military orders the destruction of all of the files related to MK Ultra. So what we have today, which is already terrifying, is just a skeleton of just how far-reaching that CIA program was. But I can say confidently, I've always believed that MK Ultra was tasked with creating Manchurian candidates. I believe a lot of people in politics today went through weird psychology programs. It's my personal opinion. This is my podcast. I am entitled to it. Jerry meets and marries Kent Francois, jumping back into her timeline. Okay, she meets and marries Kent Francois while she's working for Quaker Oats. And she's a few years older
So she's talking about Erika's mom and dad, essentially.
Him. She continues to
Erika's mom was apparently part of the MK Ultra experiment or something.
Climb the ranks as a psychologist, gets a master's degree, a doctorate. Now she's going by Dr. Francois, and her and Kent Francois moved down to Paradise Valley, Arizona, before deciding to divorce. Okay, we're supposed to believe that, okay, well, they're divorced, never going to see each other again. Maybe. Should know that once she becomes a doctor, she has arrived. She is now going to work for the biggest and most powerful families in the world. Okay, this is where it's going to get really fun, because she begins working for, not even just one of the most powerful families in the world, but it also happens to be a French family. France. I could never do a series where you're not there, France. The DuPonts.
France.
I kid you not. She starts working for the DuPont family, becoming the director of employee relations for DuPont. because she's so good at psychology. She gets into organizational psychology. She is tasked effectively, I would say, with finding the psychopaths that should head up the corporations that are run by the.
Wait, is that what I was supposed to do as an organizational psychologist? Candace is attacking organizational psychologists of all fucking people. My job as an organizational psychologist was to find the psychopaths to head up the organizations. This is new information to me, Candace. Like, can I just listen to that part again?
Or do a series where you're not there, France. The DuPonts. I kid you not. She starts working for the DuPont family, becoming the director of employee relations for DuPont because she's so good at psychology. She gets into organizational psychology. She is tasked effectively, I would say, with finding the psychopaths that should head up the corporations that are run by the elite bloodlines. She goes into partnership working for the DuPonts. Now, in case you forgot, there are also just mass poisoning people.
Bro, I had no concept that I could make so much more money as an organizational psychologist just by finding psychopaths to lead organizations. God, I really missed the fucking boat on that one. Cynthia! W's to Cynthia with the 5 channel memberships. I really do appreciate it, Cynthia. Just as a reminder, guys, we're going to be going into a spy stream in about 40 minutes or so. One of the ways to get access to spy stream tonight is by becoming a YouTube channel member. If you guys want to gift out channel memberships to the community to invite more people in to watch a live leftist organizing call with us tonight, please feel free to do so. I'm not going to make hard ass on channel membership today. We're just kind of hanging out, but we will be doing a spy stream in about 40 minutes. We're just watching Candace until then.
That's what they've done for a very long time. If the lawsuits are telling us anything about, they have innumerable lawsuits related to them poisoning the population, giving people cancer. Jerry's apparently a good fit. In 1983, DuPont completes the largest merger in corporate history with Conoco Oil, and they're able to do this thanks to Reagan and George Bush being in office, deregulating things, making it easier for private corporations to go in and do bigger deals. Of course, we know DuPont then moves those headquarters to Wilmington, Delaware. I just loved looking into her and just seeing that she's the DuPont woman, because I like to pause and reflect on past episodes when I don't know why everybody's freaking out about things. And I just like to consider how terrified they must have been when I'm looking into the Charlie Egyptian planes and I'm like, what's going on in Wilmington, Delaware? And I instantly hit the DuPont family. And then Erika's out there nervously at AmFest cracking like not funny jokes about Egyptian planes. She's like, oh, no, nobody from Egyptian planes are here. Tell you something, her jokes are going to become less and less funny as we get deeper into this series. Now back to Dr. Jerry. She is then somehow awarded an entire research center, at Radford University in 1983, a gender clinic of all things, feminist. And she's awarded a gender clinic, and they begin giving lessons to the military. My question is on what? Gender? Why do we need a research facility? Oh, I know why. The reason, and so you need to understand how the world works. The reason why companies might be interested in having people that will come up with BS research for them is because government and corporations have to produce completely fictitious academic reports and studies to justify the psychopathic things that they're doing to us worldwide. Okay, you got to have the experts. You got to have the psychopathic experts that will produce the reports so that people in power can just unilaterally force things across the population, like the COVID vaccine. Oh, well, Dr. So-and-so, Dr. Franfe maybe says that if you don't get the vaccine, it's because you're a psychopath. If you don't line up and get the shot, it's because you're crazy and she's an expert. That sort of a thing, just giving you an example. She wasn't involved in the COVID thing, to my knowledge, but that's the purpose.
To my knowledge.
And Dr. Jerry Franfe becomes that sort of an expert with ties to the most powerful families in America and France. She also, by the way, happens to be a total and complete fraud. I am confident that Jerry Franfe is a fraud. Okay? Fraud. Capital F, fraud. How do I know? Look no further than this report that came out of Radford University that Jerry Franfe produces pertaining to Native Americans and the Appalachian Mountain. I'm just going to show you the cover of this report really quickly. So it says that who's putting together this report? The Center for Gender Studies. And it lists 5 names: Marjorie Wayland, George Bourne, Richard Castor, Susan Friedman, Jerry Franfe. Well, not what she doesn't communicate in this report is that that's her family. Marjorie Wayland is her mom. Richard Castor is her nephew, her sister's son. This is why they just get married so much, because, and I didn't even look into the other two. I just couldn't, once I realized that the 2 of these people were her family and they're going to produce a report, I just went, oh, she's like a whole fraud. That's just effectively Mormon mafia. All right. We've done a report. Okay. I guess we can go into Native American. They need feminism or something. We can go right onto the reservation. These women want to be free, something like that.
I mean, literally, Candace does understand that, like, literally anyone in academia can write and publish a paper about literally anything they want, right? Like, everyone understands this. I worked in, people who don't know, I worked in higher education for 10 fucking years. I have a PhD. I understand how higher education works intimately. Literally anyone can write a fucking report and publish a report on whatever fucking topic they want. And, like, do you know how many little academic journals exist just because some professor started an academic journal so that he could publish whatever the fuck he wanted? Do you have, like, people have no idea how many of these things exist. Everything gets uploaded into Google Scholar. Everything is treated with the same level of, like, you know, veracity or whatever. But it's like, to be a published academic is not actually really that difficult, because you can literally publish papers on whatever the fuck you want.
But I want you to sear that into your mind. Mormons conducting research, students conducting research. Again, this is a background episode, but that's going to become very relevant as we examine Erika Kirk's ties to Eastern Europe, because Jerry Franzwey gets involved in Eastern Europe, especially in Eastern Europe. What is going on, by the way, with all these Mormon missions? Tyler Boyer, I'm kind of speaking to you, my friend. I know about your time in Romania. I've got the receipts. Now, we'll dig into that. But the reason that I wanted to give you the background of Jerry Franzwey is because after this, heading into the 90s, the next thing she does in life is she gets involved with charter schools. She gets into the charter school business, particularly helping them to develop psychological methods with students. Yeah, you know where this is going. Dr. Jerry Franzwey is going to be the person that helps develop the Tesseract way. Tesseract schools, the school that Erika went to that is exceedingly problematic. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more.
Erika Kirk's mother developed an X-Men school with a Tesseract. Okay.
About that after a quick break.
No ads, Candace. We're on a schedule today.
We've already informed you. It's not an exaggeration whatsoever. First or down here, /at the Tesseract school. When you look at the people that are involved, very much you can view it as almost a child psychological experiment. I'm going to introduce those individuals to you. Let's just recap Tesseract school in general. We've already informed you. Erika will be there from 1993 to 1999. We showed you this photo of her in the first grade. We also then showed you this photo of Erika in the second grade. Erika, by the way, I should note, because we got some comments about this, she has spoken about how her mother chopped her hair off. So that is a known thing because she didn't know how to do her hair. I'm actually inclined to think that it was because her dad was taking care of her at that time. I'm not positive about that, but that would definitely make sense because these are going to be the years that she has a stay-at-home dad. Third grade photo we have here with Erika in this school. This is without question a school that is being designed by the elites. It is backed by the Bushes and the Waltons. They, among other elite families, they are, again, kind of getting into government money in a way, pioneering charter schools. You give us the tax dollars and we'll show you a better way to use them. Government schools are failing, right? We're always in that right versus left false dialectic, but the same families are benefiting from it. We're going to use this government money. Okay. Now, of course, you're going to do all that. You need to have your elite psychologists on board to help develop these children, how you're going to test them, how this is going to be a different model. And that is why it makes perfect sense that Dr. Jerry Franzwey, who conveniently is her entire Mormon family is from Arizona. Her and Kent had a home together in Arizona, in Paradise Valley, which is exactly where this particular school was. This was the first school, and this one is going to fail very quickly. But yeah, of course, she's going to help them draft those psychological models at the school that Erika attends. Now, Erika might not know this woman. She may not have met her. I would definitely be shocked if she didn't know about Dr. Franzwey. Is she just doing the models? Did she sit down with the kids? I don't know. But this is going to be how they handle these students is going to be described as the Tesseract way. Now, I want you to know who else is involved with the school. Because if you think Dr. Jerry Franzwey is problematic, well, I told you already that John T. Goley is the CEO of Tesseract. He does that announcement about it with Jeb Bush, who is, supporting charter schools. Well, I told you John T. Goley, he was working with Roundup Monsanto on their launch. So I guess him and Jerry's with DuPont. It's a natural alliance, poisoning the population and getting away with it. But there's some other key players here. I really want you to know about this guy named Phil Bliss, who joins the board of Tesseract. Okay, Phil Bliss here, over there in the corner. Phil Bliss, the board member, was involved with Stanford University in the 70s. I'm not going to, yes, I am MK Ultra, Okay. He was known widely during that time as a drug counselor. You know, okay, everyone's taking LSD. You got the drug counselors, and he is also working with Stanford's Hospital for Addiction Research, right? He then co-founds a school in Palo Alto, which is called Mid-Peninsula High School. He installs himself as the principal of that school, and that school then has a shooting. In 1996, it turns out that the student that committed the shooting had been working with Philip Bliss through his depression. Okay, fantastic candidate. I don't know. I got a lot of questions about these psychologists. As I said in the first episode, when you look at all these things that are happening, school shootings, behind everything is a psychologist and a prescription counter, truly. He also, on that same campus, by the way, he was on the board of a French-American school, so he also has French connections, but that's just kind of implied now in my life. The person who is going to be running the school as the executive director is a woman named Jill Kessler. She's the executive director, and she says that she moved to Arizona for her husband's job, and he is a pediatric developmental behavioral pediatrician, whatever that means. He specializes in children and behavior, essentially. So she is well suited. Above her is Susan B. Silverstein, who is the vice president of development. I have a very strong indication of who Susan B. Silverstein is, but unless I'm certain, I'm not going to show the face and tell you the background, but yeah, we're just going to pause on that. But we had a strong suspicion about who Susan B. Silverstein is. Like I said, they have done a very good job of wiping anything and everything about this particular Tesseract in Paradise Valley, which eventually shuttered in 2000 from history. I mean, even books. They're like, this person wrote a book on the collapse of it. The book is just gone. You cannot find this book anywhere. I told you already that John Walton, obviously the son of Walmart founder Sam Walton, is a major investor, and he also sits on the board. And my viewpoint is that it is fair to suggest that the school in and of itself was a psychological experiment, and the school completely falls apart.
Is it possible? Okay, I'm going to pause at something. Is Candace using AI to do her research? Is that what's happening right now? I think Candace is using AI to do her research, and I'm going to explain why. Candace was like, this book exists, but it doesn't exist. I can't find it anywhere. I've had multiple, this is why I say anytime you use AI to do something, AI can be fucking awesome, and AI can really help cut down on your research time, but you have got to fucking fact check every single thing AI tells you. Like, I mean, everything. Because there have definitely been times when AI has told me that a book exists and that there's a quote in that book, and then I go and try to find it, and the book doesn't fucking exist at all. This has happened to me like multiple times. Then I say, AI, is that a real book, or did you just make that up? And the AI is like, oh, I'm very sorry, I made that up. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like AI has fed stuff to like this to me over and over and over again. And so is it possible that all of this insanity is because Candace and her team are only using AI to research, and they're not bothering to fact check everything the AI tells them, and they're just, this book exists. I know this book exists. Candace is like looking in the AI for information about this fucking Tesseract school, and the AI is trying to be helpful, and it's like, go read this book, Candace, but the book doesn't actually exist. AI just made it up because it does shit like that all the time. And Candace didn't bother to go, is this book actually real? She just couldn't find the book anywhere. And then she's like, the MK Ultra wiped the book off the face of the map. It's like, bro. Anyway.
There's accusations of financial impropriety, as well as the method which they used to track the success of the students. People said this is a complete scam. The way that you're doing the studies doesn't have any control. There's no control. And that would track with anything Dr. Jerry Franzway had her hands in, because she's a whole fraud. She's just, you can't just have your mommy doing experiments. Like, come on, man. You can't do this. You just can't do that. I also want to say this, and this I'm going to say without any names here, but the family that I received these yearbooks from, they had a child, multiple children actually at the school. And obviously the child is an adult today and has always maintained that he was sexually abused by very specific people at the top of the school. Obviously, I'm not going to name those people. I know evidence of this, but I was very compelled to listen and also to believe that individual, because, well, child abuse and psychology go hand in hand. So even if I didn't have his account, I would not have doubted it. Dr. Jerry Franzway herself, by the way, was friends and colleagues with Dr. John Money, the notorious psychologist who was one of the fathers of transgenderism, who then it turned out notoriously abused children. If you guys don't know who I'm speaking about, as soon as Jerry Franzfeld opens the gender clinic at Radford University, or heads up the gender research center at Radford University, she brings over Dr. John Money. This is who Dr. John Money is. Take a listen.
John Money, he's one of the greatest villains in history, and he is the father of gender ideology. And he became that by abusing two twin boys, one of whom had his genitalia basically destroyed in a botched circumcision. Money believed that sexuality was fluid, convinced these parents that he could raise that boy as a girl and it would be fine. Long story short, that didn't work out. That boy was every bit a boy. When he was told what had been done to him, it destroyed him, and he eventually ended up committing suicide. Money was a hero because he told the world that his experiment succeeded. And it wasn't until the young man comes out and tells his story that people realize not only did it not succeed, but he abused those boys horribly. People needed to know where this ideology came from. That this guy who abused these boys made them perform sex acts on each other.
Yeah, just a colleague of Dr. Jerry Franzfeld. I am telling you, all of these psychologists are perverted. They are, I mean, I'm not saying like every psychologist that you know is perverted, but these people with the power and that are within close proximity to the elites, any incursion into history, any incursion into what happened and what went wrong into America begins and ends with these scientists, quote unquote scientists, that we rescued from Germany. And a lot of what we know and heard about World War II obviously is a lie, and many things have been covered up. The fact that we still celebrate these people in school, like Sigmund Freud, is your biggest clue that something is wrong. Something is very wrong and rotten at the top. I want to add this. Across the board, everyone that I have spoken to says that Lori, Erika's mother, is exceedingly problematic. Exceedingly problematic. They acknowledge that Erika lies about a lot of details, and obviously on the basis of just the divorce documents that we went through yesterday, I can see that Lori might do some things that would not be described as honest. Okay, I don't think she is likely an honest dealer. But what people have said to me is she is the person, has always been the person in Erika's ear. Like she's this type A person that tells her who to go after.
Hey guys, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Breaking news. And I'm just going to say it publicly. Let's just see what happens. I'm just going to say it publicly. Maybe we'll even do this as a public spy stream because there ain't fuck off they can do about it. Do you know how I know that the DSA has absolutely not figured out who my secret identity is yet? Because I just got an email from them at my secret identity account inviting me to a mass call with them tomorrow at 8 p.m. So, Jennifer, we may need to push this and rage back a little bit. Should we do a public spy stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. to watch the DSA mass organizing call? Should we just do that? Since Stacy's going to fucking try to tattle on me anyway, should I just really give the DSA the fucking middle finger and just do it as a public spy stream? Here's the deal, guys. Let me make you guys a deal. Do you guys want me to do this as a public spy stream tomorrow? Okay, here's what I need. I need 50 more gifted channel memberships before we end the stream today. 50 more. 50. If I get 50 more channel memberships donated before I end the stream today, I will do the DSA member meeting tomorrow, mass organizing call. It's going to be tomorrow at 8 p.m., but we'll disenrage at 9 p.m. So it's tomorrow at 8 p.m. I will do that as a public spy stream for everyone. So if you want to see that happen, you got about 20 minutes to donate 50 channel memberships. 10 people give 5 channel memberships, and we'll do that as a public spy stream. If not, maybe we'll just do it as a supporter exclusive. We'll have to see. You want it public? Pony up.
In each and every room, she knows who those people are, who Erika should instantly transform into, what she has to say. I mean, one of her exes was very clear. He said to me, I was warned by another person in beauty pageant world that girl will do anything to get to the top, and her mother will do anything to help her get to the top. Her mother herself, Lori, was a model actually at one point. So that hunger for Erika to get to the top, there is a connection just based on discussions I have had with multiple people to her mother. And I know that's an untouchable subject because there's always this, well, she's sick now. You can't talk about her mother at all. But to get into the Erika story, you have to know who Lori Franzfeld is, and you have to know who this cast of character is around her. And Erika is, without question, a climber. Okay, she is also, without question, willing to lie to make her mother look better. I mean, to say I grew up with a single mother is not true. So why is she saying it? Well, people suspect probably Lori is the person in her ear getting her to say that because it makes Lori look good. She wanted Erika to be famous, but let's not remove Erika from this. Erika desperately wanted to be famous. No one can deny that. Tomorrow, when we now begin in earnest to go through Erika's life, you will see she's never dated a normal guy. She's never dated a guy with a 9-to-5 job. And
Okay, let's actually just go to that. Let's out because we're on a time constraint here. Let's just jump right into episode 3 from Candace.
all right, you guys, happy Friday. We are going on a journey.
Okay,
All right,
tell
a
us about it,
journey.
Candace.
So yesterday we told you that by all accounts, the voice that is in Erika's ear is Lori, her mother. Lori
Gonna
is
go
the
a little
pusher,
faster.
consigliere,
Sorry.
as a part of the public
Sorry if the playback speed annoys people, but we have a time constraint.
psychological campaign. Erika has been curating videos to remind us that her mother is very ill. I don't dispute that.
No.
I do dispute that Erika was with her on September 10th receiving a treatment. We'll get to that later. Not important for today.
Awesome,
Lori
bro,
Franz,
thank
despite
you.
being ill, has recently been put on the board of Superfeed Technologies alongside Turning Point
Have it.
Action's COO, Tyler Boyer. Shady dude. They're effectively then business
Shady.
partners. They have been for a while, actually. Lori was at first a director over at Superfeed. Rumors have been swirling online that money from Turning Point Action has been routed into Superfeed. Now, I'm not a forensic accountant, so I can neither confirm nor deny that. The point is, what I want you to take away here is that these two are in cahoots, okay? Now, we earlier broke the story that Tyler Boyer is, among other things, allegedly taking Turning Point into the business of real estate in particular. It might be relevant then that we learn a little bit, a thing or two, about a witness to Lori's frankly bizarre divorce documents that we went over. Now, I know, she's a grieving widow. She's a grieving widow. Very required that I say that. And we are therefore not allowed to speak about her Turning Point family or why the hell her mother was ever put on any board in the first place. But you know what? Billions of dollars are on the line, so I'd like to mark myself safe from being emotionally manipulated by Operation Erika Bird. Welcome back to Bride of Erika.
Bride of Erika. Bride of Charlie.
Man, oh man, Loretta Abbas, or, Wallstad, Francfe, Guinta. Something ain't right. Too many LLCs, too many households, always lurking behind her daughter, shady divorce docs, curated content. Even the lawyer on those shady divorce docs, Rebecca Kay, may she rest in peace. But even she was involved with horse racing. Is everybody somehow maybe connected to gambling? I want to know. All I know is that with mom, the vibes are not vibing for me, okay? Lottery tickets flying in the air with her grandma, grandparents. Well, on Monday's episode, or I guess earlier this week, Wednesday's episode, we went through Lori and Kent's divorce documents, right? The only 2 out of about 6 or so documents that were available. And we determined that something wasn't right. 4 different dates to the alleged wedding between Lori and Kent, an unnotarized childcare agreement, plus a different date for Erika's birthday than the one initially listed in the Cincinnati News, November 22nd, across 4 sets of documents. But we cautioned people at home, like, hey, there's other docs. Therefore, it's plausible that those remaining documents made some necessary changes. Caution, I said, caution. But you guys don't listen. One of you guys went ahead and tore the caution tape down, sent to me all the remaining documents. And those were interesting. I'll have you know that Erika's birthday on all of them is November 22nd. Yeah, it is. Her name's spelled differently a few times too. Erika with a C. We'll go over that next week. Because what I want to talk about is a person that was in these documents. There was another person mentioned, someone who was listed as the witness to these shenanigans. That's how I am going to hitherto refer to the divorce documents, the shenanigans. And that witness, his name is Richard Erpenbeck. I'll show you that here. Now, what I am blurring out on this document is it had his address, which allowed me to definitively confirm which Rick Erpenbeck we were speaking about. Who is the one that actually was the witness? Erpenbeck, by the way, anybody that's gone through following any of the people on X that have been deep diving alongside me, you will know that Erpenbeck is not an unusual name when it comes to Lori's businesses. This is actually the family that she uses many times to either notarize or to flat out incorporate her very many LLCs, regarding which, I just want to say this, I'm never able to figure out what the heck the purposes of these LLCs are. What do these businesses actually do? Lori has LLCs coming out of her ears, okay? Lori's got a lot going on. And I want to say something else, her professional backstory in and of itself, it's odd. It's kind of like Erika odd, to be honest, right? Lori Ann was a model. By her second marriage, we discover that she's working as a secretary. She then must have fallen and bumped her head and became a technological genius. There was no evidence of it, but then suddenly, whoop, she's arrived and she is just putting together tech companies, as many people do. I am waiting for that late stage technological brilliance to fall upon me because I can barely sort through my apps. I don't even know how to get to the app store in a fast enough time. Let me take you through the litany of LLCs that she has filed. This is Lori, which feature Richard or Donna Erpenbeck as either the secretary, the incorporator, the notary, across a 25-year period, okay? Now, Lori filed for Eurotech in June of 1993. What does it do? Nobody knows, but Rick was featured. Lori and Rick filed for Eurotech International UK. Nobody knows. That was 1995. She filed for Tech Metrics International, 1993. And in the
Guys, just doing a quick check-in here. We have 12 of the 50 channel memberships donated if you want tomorrow's spy stream to be public. Now, I'm happy to keep it as a private supporter-only spy stream, too. We'll do the spy stream either way, but whether or not it's a public spy stream or whether or not it's a supporter-exclusive spy stream is entirely up to you guys. And, we need to hit the 50 goal by the end of the stream in order to make that happen. So, no big deal.
available 1998 docs pertaining to it, Richard Erpenbeck is again listed as the secretary Lori and Rick
Sorry,
filed for
bad at
Techmetrics
math.
Limited.
No, it's
That's
not
international
13.
UK in 95. She also filed for
No, it's 12.
virtual
Or-
registration.
It's 12.
Okay, in December of 1999, you can see that we've got both
no,
Donna
you're
and
right.
Rick Erpenbeck.
You're right. It is. W stats. I didn't see this. I really apologize, bro. It is 13. You kept track, bro. I just didn't see that one come through for some reason. Must have been doing something. There you go. Now we're back.
Had signed off on that. Also, that's you see Lori's signature. Everyone's kind of involved in getting these documents together. And then we know Lori files for AZ Tech. She goes to Arizona. We're in Europe. We're doing tech.
I haven't had a chance to look at that yet because I've been doing other stuff. I will look at it though. I promise. So Candace is saying that Erika Kirk's mother was in the MK Ultra experiment, and that Erika Kirk went to a Tesseract school for gifted children, and that's where we left off, basically.
Everywhere. That's in August of 1997, and she eventually renamed that E3 Tech in 2017. Again, her, Rick, Donna, you can go through these docs yourself. Their names are on there. Now, look, I've been around. I've seen some stuff. I can tell you my instinct when I see a ton of LLCs and I don't know what the heck they're doing, especially when they're identifying themselves as tech, as a technology. That should be easily identifiable. Okay, you're a tech genius. In my mind, and I'm not saying this is a circumstance, but my unprofessional opinion, my mind goes to money laundering, right? Got to get rid of money. People got to start creating LLCs. Now you're thinking, you're very sensible. Hey, maybe that's not the case. There's no evidence for that. Good. Even thought of that. He's just thinking about that would make us a demon. No, everything's about good, always.
Real.
Now, Rick Erpenbeck, under that scenario, might just be a fantastic businessman. He certainly, like I said, is a longtime business associate of Lori's, following her from Ohio to Arizona. And also, there's Donna Erpenbeck mentioned, who's also featured on the divorce docs, on her business docs. So it sounds like it's a family business. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you a little bit about that Erpenbeck family. The Erpenbeck scandal, as it was termed, that went down between Ohio and Kentucky around 2002. Oddly, the exact year that Lori and Erika head out to Notre Dame Prep. More on that later. I'll have a timeline for you. So there was a massive home building company called Erpenbeck Company. It was, as it sounds, owned and operated by generations of the Erpenbeck family. The family had 4 brothers: Bill Erpenbeck, our boy Rick Erpenbeck, Gary Erpenbeck, married to Donna Erpenbeck, who we just saw as a notary. And we have Jeff Erpenbeck, plus their dad, Tony. You're never going to forget their dad, Tony, and their sister, Lori Ann Erpenbeck. Now, the Erpenbecks approached new homeowners, offering to help them with construction, sometimes offering pathways for them to cut.
Guys, you cannot let Cynthia carry this burden. Cynthia, I appreciate it. If Cynthia has to give all these shit, I'm going to be really disappointed, guys. Come on. We need 6 people. 6 people in the chat to give 5 channel memberships. Cynthia's already given a bunch today. Don't make Cynthia do all the hard work. That's not fucking fair. God, a little bit of fairness, please. Chevelle, hey Candace, The Rock called and said he wanted his turtleneck back. Yeah, real Chevelle. Thank you so much. And thank you for the 5 super chats. W's to Chevelle. See, guys, we're over the halfway point. We need 5 people, just 5 intrepid warriors, and we'll make the spy stream public for tomorrow. Entirely up to you guys if that happens.
Down financial fees pertaining to their new home ownership. Pay us directly. We'll
Goro on Rumble. W's for Goro. Thanks, bro.
Really the rest kind of a deal. Young people buying homes for the first time, but the homes, it turns out, were not being built. And their mortgages, it turned out, were not being paid either. Take a listen to this news clip.
Erpenbeck served 21 years after pleading guilty to defrauding banks of $34 million. That was back in April of 2003. So he was a home builder who funneled the proceeds from home closings back to his company and himself. So his crimes left hundreds of home buyers on the hook for millions of dollars in unpaid mortgages.
I really don't want to have that clip undersell to you what went down. I just want you guys to understand what this case was about. It was about missing money. $34 million seemingly evaporated from well-meaning people who were trying to buy their homes. It was, like I said, Ohio, Kentucky case that was for the ages. I am talking real courtroom drama. Forged documents, shady subcontractors. Check out just some snippets from articles recapping this case. I'm going to get to this part. Lori Ann Erpenbeck was a standout character. Tells us that by 2004, Lori Erpenbeck seemingly had enough of her family. She already knew that her brother Bill had thought about killing her. So when dad Tony offered to give her $500 for her birthday, she then turned the conversation to her testimony about Bill. She held her ground. No, she was not going to lie under oath. Pardon. Tony offered her money to change her testimony about Bill.
Old sub, I was expecting to see like 10 channel memberships from you at a maximum. Because I know you like to put us over the goal because you don't want Cynthia to win. 50 fucking channel memberships, bro. Old sub sailor, single-handedly funding the spy stream to make it public tomorrow. That's not true. Other people funded it as well. But massive, super fucking generous, bro. Super generous. You are the best. Thank you so much for your consummate support. We love you. We love you just as much as we love Cynthia, the kings and queens of the channel. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the new 50 channel members. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our goal. That's a little thing called smashing the goal. Thanks, old sub. Thank you to everyone who donated. You guys rock.
Lori told her lawyer about the conversation, and the FBI was looped in. She agreed to wear a wire to capture information. This is the sister. Over the next few days, she met with her dad and Bill as they tried to convince her to agree to a fake storyline. And then she started the fraud to help the company's cash flow, and that it got over her head. Then she let Bill assume responsibility. The FBI soon arrested both men. Oh, okay. Sister wore a wire. Let's read this portion. The proposed $1 million hits. Okay, Tony Urbanbeck, that's dad, had been in a federal medical prison in Lexington for just a few months when he tried to hire someone to murder and kidnap the people connected with putting him and his son behind bars. He wanted then senior U.S. District Judge S. Arthur Spiegel and then retired Assistant U.S. Attorney Kathleen Brinkman killed. Tony also targeted an FBI agent's children. He told a would-be hitman to bury the agent's 3 kids in a casket with crackers, water, and an air pipe for 10 days. He recruited a fellow inmate about to be released from prison to commit the crime, so the inmate flipped on Urbanbeck and wore a wire for the FBI. The recording caught Tony Urbanbeck offering to pay fake hitman $500,000 in gold stock first. Then Urbanbeck planned to pay the man and the other, and another $500,000 from offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands after news of the kidnappings hit the newspapers. Oh, okay, here's another piece of just this case. This case is amazing. This is a $250,000 on the green. Bill Urbanbeck lost thousands of dollars when he ratted out his own friend in 2009. Oh man, this one goes on, and he asked his friend to put $250,000 to dig it out, dig a hole and put the money in there so he had a little cash when he got out. Okay. Another personal favorite portion of mine from the news of that day is the notary testifying that Rick's brother Bill would sometimes ask her to notarize documents while the person involved was not even present, right? She said Bill Urbanbeck sometimes asked her to notarize documents when the people who supposedly had signed them were not in her presence. Oh, yeah, that's illegal. And it is exactly what I pointed out to you guys, having not known this whole story and background, not knowing that this Rick was going to come up in the documents that I couldn't access at the time. I said, something's not right here. I'm a notary up in New York. That jumps out at me. It seems odd that anybody would sign away their rights to a court case, a legal representation, without a notary being present. That just did not seem to me to be a clerical error. Anyway, documents in the court's absent notarization. It's not how court cases work. It looked to me like someone was looking the other way. Like somebody maybe knew the county clerk and was up to no good. Now, like they told you, like these newspapers are telling you, when things were going down, Lorianne, the sister, wanted to cooperate with the police.
I gave you W's, right, Deeds? I appreciate the gifted channel membership.
That was a no-no. You never go against the family. So they started threatening her. Then she goes into hiding until she gets a phone call from her dad, Tony. And her dad tells her, "It's the last time you might see me." She thinks he's going to commit suicide. So she runs down to the house, comes out of hiding, only to realize her brothers, Bill, Gary, Rick, they're there telling her, hey, okay, brothers are there.
Oh,
Lori
you
doesn't care. Like you read,
okay.
we went through already. She wears wire for the feds, meets up with dad again.
Yeah,
yada, yada. She's terrified Bill is going to kill her. The recording is played in court. They get him. They get Tony. Bill pleads guilty. He picks up additional charges for threatening to kill his sister. He's ultimately...
To be fair, though, sometimes people don't know they get gifted the channel membership until after the fact. So so yes, it is nice if when you get gifted a channel membership to thank whoever donated it. But some people just don't see it. They aren't paying attention. And so I wouldn't, don't take it as like a personal thing. They may just not have seen it.
Sentenced to 30 years in prison. He ends up serving 21 years after a judge later shortens his sentence. His dad, Tony, who had just been sentenced to 5 years and 10 months for bank fraud, with a concurrent sentence for 60 months for obstruction of justice. Well, he later then received another 20 years because, he tried to hire the hitman to kill the U.S. district judge and the U.S. attorney and the FBI agent's children. Okay. That's the Urbanbeck family. Lorianne, the sister, does a year, 1 count of bank fraud. Brothers Gary and Jeff get off scot-free. Rick Urbanbeck, the youngest of the clan, Lori's Urbanbeck, agrees to let go of his Kentucky legal license, but he otherwise avoids any charges because his name was not on the business. But he did have to testify. And throughout his testimony, we learn that one of the big mysteries of this case was why his father, Tony, had transferred so much money to LLCs that were under Rick's control. We can read this together. Here we go. In his deposition Thursday, Rick Urbanbeck testified, "You'd have to ask my dad. Actually, what was in his head? I saw it as a good investment. He had already always, helped the other boys out from the beginning. I was the one who worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs through college, 2 jobs through law school while he was helping out, the other boys, the Urbanbeck company. And he wanted to give me the opportunity to purchase these assets." That's, they say right there, the biggest question to be answered is why Tony Urbanbeck agreed to shift so much money into Rick Urbanbeck's control. No, mystery. Rick made out real nice because he wasn't involved in the business. Just a hardworking kid. His family's just up to it. But you want to know what never happened? Who didn't make out nice? The homeowners. They never got their money back. Where did it go? Some of us, some of it, of course, went to Bill's lavish lifestyle. But where did the rest of the money get siphoned off to? It's just one big Scooby-Doo mystery. Anyway, the story goes in 2024. Bill Urbanbeck does get released from prison. Apparently, like it shows us he attempted to stow away some cash. This is like a never-ending scandal. Take a listen.
The Beck name was back in the news in 2009 when FBI agents dug up a cooler full of cash from Summit Hills Country Club in Crestview Hills. A friend had buried money that he received from Beck on the course next to Beck's former home. Beck had hoped to use that money after he got out of prison.
Now, why is this relevant? Why is this story relevant? Because it just seems to be the case that fraud surrounds Lori Fronsvay, Wallstead, whatever her name is. Fraud just seems to surround her. From her parents to her grandparents to the person that's doing her documents. It's just always around her, to her very many businesses, and nobody knows what they do. She just can't seem to get away with it. And do you know what's crazy to me? That despite her obviously being very much aware of who the Becks were, a case which included attempts of coordinated murder and kidnapping of children, putting them into boxes, Lori didn't seem scared. No, she didn't go, hey, maybe I just don't want to. I know it sounds like you really were just at school and you don't know why you got all this money, but I'm good.
No.
I think if my lawyer called me, Noah, I looked into Noah, and Noah, his family's in prison for murdering and putting people in boxes or threatening to put people in boxes. And it's a trial of a century. I said, you know what? I can probably figure out how to incorporate my LLC by myself. It's really easy now. Everything's so easy these days. Like, I'm good, Noah. Thank you. Not Lori. No, not for Lori. She brings this guy in, and just so happens to be, I know it's so coincidental. These are clerical errors. Just so happens to be that she's got some docs that look a little shady. And I looked through those documents, and no, it was not corrected. And no, Erika's birthday never does, even across different documents, seem to go back to the 20th. So... Yeah. Lori did not at all, I guess, have the impetus to think that maybe working with this family in any capacity was immoral, demonic. What are some of the adjectives that they keep describing me as? Yeah, all of it. No, she was good. It's interesting that Lori sends Erika to Tesseract in Arizona, and the school then suddenly has to shutter its doors because it, once again, another financial scandal. Money evaporates. Nobody knows where it went. People think that it may have been a scam. That just keeps happening. It must be just so scary for Erika. I see this so much in her life. I'm scared. I'm scared for Erika. That's why I'm doing this series. I'm scared for her. She's a grieving widow.
Exactly. What not is capital.
Later on, Lori's going to start working with the Farnsworths, camera guy, taking down the camera. And then she's going to strike up this partnership with Tyler Boyer, this very shady COO of Turning Point Action, who is going to introduce Erika to Charlie Kirk. And in the background, Lori.
Now we're seeing Candace's narcissism really come out, where Tyler Boyer obviously did something to really piss off Candace, and now she's going to get her revenge.
And Tyler are going to do business together. Now, remember when people wondered why it was that Lori was a board member?
Just so you guys know, when we do the spy stream, we're going to do a really quick switch over. So I'm not going to do the outro video or the intro video to spy stream. We're just going to end this stream and go right into the spy stream. So make sure you find the link. If you need help finding the link, put it in the chat. YouTube channel members will find it in the post tab. Substack members will find it on the main page. You can find on whatever platform you're supporting on. Rumble member, I just need you to stick around and stay right where you are. But we're going to be doing it quick because I want to see as much of this as possible.
And I'm in front of Erika, and I told you guys that the answer that Erika gave me was because they just needed a familiar name. Yeah, I was born yesterday. Let's go with that. I was born on Thursday, yesterday. And Tyler and Lori, by the way, Superfeed, already objectively involved in scandal. You can look this up yourself. Claims of bribery. I think I had it, the headline in Yahoo News. Kari Lake's bribery scandal involves a shady GOP tech firm. Yeah, they're referring to Superfeed Technologies, had its business revoked by the state of Arizona while it employed Jeff DeWitt, its former COO, and Lake, who had received more than $100,000 from the entity in the personal financial disclosure that she filed last month. How weird. How weird. I just want to be clear. Lori's a victim. Everywhere she goes, this just happens. Money goes missing everywhere she goes, even when her daughter's going to school. Okay. And Tyler Boyer, probably the same. I know that he recently required a literal federal pardon from the President of the United States for fraud. He was credibly accused of 9 felonies related to trying to subvert the election, including fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. He's still facing state charges. But that's just, everybody just doesn't understand how much Turning Point is going through right now. And they're really sad. They're really sad. They're grieving differently. Yeah. And I also broke the news to you, I said at the top, that Tyler Boyer is telling people that they are now going to get into the real estate business to help young homeowners because it was Charlie's vision, right? He's telling people that Charlie the Ghost, who they can manipulate to do whatever they want, always, he always told students not to go to college and to instead get married young. And therefore, the next logical step would be for Turning Point to go into homeownership to help them become homeowners. Trust the science. If you think that's weird, that's because you're demonic. Erika's grieving widow. Lori, in case you missed it, is the one person that Erika now posts for sympathy. She's curating Lori, right? To let you know that Lori is sick. That to me felt like a person I should probably be looking into, right? How dare you have any questions about anything right now? Do you know Erika's just lost her husband and her mom's sick? I think these people are sick in the head. There is something very wrong with Lori. There is something very wrong with Erika. And there is something very wrong with this picture of Lori, Tyler, and Erika Kirk being together. There just is. It's my opinion. It's my show. They really think we are this stupid. Anyway, we'll be right back after a quick break.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Thanks to you.
Fast forward. Let's see how much more we can get into this. No
Walmart's
commercial.
sick. I understand someday George Soros is going to be sick. Okay, doesn't mean that we don't get to discuss the things he is involved in. The question that I was asking is what went on with this marriage between Lori and Kent, this alleged marriage between Lori and Kent? Why do I feel like it's not even a real marriage? I see no evidence of the marriage occurring, or like it just seems like I don't know if a marriage can occur across 16 years. I don't know if it can happen that many times across 2 documents. And like I said, we have the other documents. We will show you them at the beginning of next week. Well, fortunately for me, another sleuth, someone in Marblehead, Massachusetts, said, how can I help? I have access to documents here. I can take a look and see what I can find. Lori and Kent. And they were not able to pull up any marriage documents. Doesn't mean that they don't exist. But they were able to pull up some deeds where Lori and Kent had signed the deeds over and when they had first received the deed to their home in Marblehead, Massachusetts. And there's a little interesting tidbit here where Lori and Kent are listing as having been a couple from Rhode Island, from North Kingstown, Rhode Island. North Kingston, Rhode Island. First off, I want to tell you that that's not a place. So there's Kingston, I would know, because I went to the University of Rhode Island. There's clerical errors, but there's Kingston, Rhode Island, which is about 2 miles long, and it's just the University of Rhode Island campus where I graduated from. And then there's South Kingstown, North Kingstown, and apparently they lived there, except I can't find a trace of Lori and Kent having lived in Rhode Island. So my Rhode Island sleuths, people down at the county, maybe in Rhode Island, if you want to take a peek
Chevelle,
and see if you can find.
Thanks so much for the super chat, bro. Really appreciate you. This is why I think this is all out of jealousy. Charlie died and Candace didn't get called in to help take over the company. She always throws in how incompetent and disgusting people are a turning point. Well, listen, I have no problem believing that conservatives are disgusting and incompetent, if I'm being really honest about it. But 2 things can be true at once. Candace can be a psycho, and also they can be incompetent. But I appreciate the super chat. Thanks so much. Guys, we're going to do this for about 5 more minutes, so hopefully Candace gets to the point.
This lovely couple, and maybe they got married in Rhode Island. Well, I guess no, because they're divorce talks. They got married in Marblehead, Massachusetts. So people are saying they can't find those divorce talks. But this makes it seem like they maybe got married in Rhode Island. But you can maybe just get married in Marblehead while you're living together in Rhode Island. Maybe they were renting property. I don't know, but I want to know. If you find something, Rhode Islanders, hit me up. More tips at CandaceOwens.com. More tips at CandaceOwens.com. Now jumping back into our Erika timeline.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about how she went to this school, Tesseract. It's also going to be a scam, financial scam, but that's fine. She's the victim. After Erika Franzfey leaves Tesseract in 2000 because the school is facing a financial crisis, I also want to point out, like I said, school's being run by Jewish women. They're even renting from a Jewish school, the Looking Glass. And stereotypically, I want to say something. Stereotypically, Jewish people are known for very good accounting, but not in this case. Not sure what happened there. Thereafter, there is evidence, and we have not been able to find anything concrete, but there is evidence that Erika went back up to Ohio for about 3 years, from 2000 to 2002.
Hey, Sith over on Rumble. Thanks for the Rumble rant. Count me in with the folks that Candace is pissed that she didn't get CEO of TPUSA. Well, I don't know if I agree with that, but I do appreciate the money. Thanks so much.
Apparently attended a school known as St. Ursula Villa. St. Ursula Villa is actually separate from St. Ursula Academy. It's a privately owned, and at first glance, you would think it was a Catholic school, but actually, despite its name, despite it being on the St. Ursula Academy property, it was not owned by the nuns as St. Ursula Academy was. St. Ursula Villa actually had private funding and private. It was completely separate from the Catholic Church at this time, from what I'm able to see.
Don't have time to
so,
talk about that.
And I cannot pull up who was funding this school at that time. So if you have yearbooks from St. Ursula Villa, not the broader academy, but St. Ursula Villa, from the years 2000 to, let's take it up to 2003, and you see Erika Franzfey in there, or you remember her being there, please reach out to us. Like I said, these 2 schools were operating same place, separate entities. Send us an email. What happens next in her life, that was pretty easy to document. Erika is at Notre Dame Prep. And I should note, I did not know this at the time, but Notre Dame Prep was formerly the Tesseract school, the one they had to shutter in North Scottsdale. Now the doors are reopened, and it's Notre Dame Prep. And it's very easy to document Erika throughout these years. In 2003, she's playing volleyball because she gets involved in sports. We can just find her. And I also want to say this, it's also easy to track her because despite her claim that she got into pageantry because she got a mailer one year. Let's roll that clip of what she said again yesterday.
Was it after that? That's when you started pageants, or when did that come about?
Right. So the pageant world to me is something that it was an interesting season of life. It was nothing that I was ever groomed for. It was nothing that was ever on my radar. I wanted to play professional basketball. Tomboy. That was my thing ever since I was 5. Like I wanted to play, and that was all I wanted to do. I was a gym rat, for lack of a better term. And I remember getting something in the mail when I had come home from school one summer, and it was like, hey, you should compete at Miss Arizona USA. Someone nominated you. And I was like, I don't know who would nominate me for that, but okay. So I shared it with my mom, and I was reviewing all the different things that you have to go through. And I thought to myself, if I were to ever win this, the most important thing out of it would be to be able to make a difference with the title. I don't care about the photo shoots. I just want to be able to overbook myself, being able able to get involved with the local communities, with the local organizations that are actually making a difference. So the pageant world for me was something that was not a form of narcissism. It was more along the terms of being a steward for my state, especially as it hit our 100th year celebration.
Okay, so it wasn't about narcissism. She wasn't groomed. By the way, if you have to say that you weren't groomed for something, you probably were. You have to just kind of say that. It's probably because you were. And the reality is that every single year from 2005 through 2012, Erika was involved in beauty pageants. So that's 7 years of her life that we could find. There could be more. There could be, she could have been doing pageantry while she was in Ohio for a couple of years. I'll let you know. It could be posted. I should also add here that some pageant women disputed her narrative. They wrote to us that she was just randomly invited. They said that minors in particular are not just freely solicited to join pageant world, and that their photo has to be submitted by a parent or a guardian. I'm not an expert on that. And maybe I wasn't pretty enough. I was a little funny looking, had a little bit of an underbite, but I never received any of these mailers that she's talking about. Anyway, let's jump into an Erika timeline, and you guys can follow along here. 2005, Erika is still attending Notre Dame Prep, and she is playing basketball. She was a junior in high school from 2005 to 2006. She is going to win first runner-up in the National America Miss Arizona pageant, and she will represent Arizona in the upcoming All-American Miss pageant in November of 2005, which takes place in Los Angeles. That year, Lori Franze is listed in the House bill budget for the U.S. Department of Homeland Securities for another business that she has called IMET Laboratories. Like I said, don't ask me what any of her businesses do. It's not clear.
Okay.
In August, just to
guys, I would love to keep going with this. We do have to stop for Spy Stream though. So we are going to end this stream. We're going to go into Spy Stream. I'm very sorry we didn't get through all this. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow, or maybe we'll do it the next day. If you are a YouTube channel member and you want to get to Spy Stream, just go to the post tab on my channel homepage. If you're a Substack subscriber, just click over here and you will find the link. I actually haven't received the link yet for the stream, so I don't know what's going on. Hopefully we do get it, but we do have to end this stream. We're going to do so real quick. We're going to jump over to Spy Stream. If you're a supporter on Locals, Patreon, or Twitter, you can find the link there. If you're a Rumble member, just stick around and you'll get access to it. But I got to end this stream now. I apologize we didn't get through the full Candace, but you know, there is always tomorrow. Thank you to everyone who donated channel memberships. Thank you to everyone who sent in super chats. I really appreciate you.